Dogon creation myth. Dogon Granary door showing the 4 pairs of ancestors and some of their deeds. The creation of the world was the deed of the god Amma, the one god and image of the Father who existed before all things. Following an unsuccessful initial attempt, from which he salvaged only the 4 elements water, earth, fire, and air, Amma placed in the egg of the world, or the original placenta, 2 pairs of androgynous twins in the form of fish. Their gestation inside the egg was interrupted by an act of rebellion. One of the male beings, Yaruga, prematurely left the mother the placenta, deserting both her and his female counterpart, thus prefiguring the birth of single beings even though Amma had envisaged twin births. The solitary being descended into space and primordial darkness, taking with him a piece of the placenta that became Earth. Aware of his solitude, he traveled through space, attempted to reascend to heaven to join his female twin again, and even sought her out in the bowels of Earth, an incestuous act that brought to a climax the disorder he had already introduced into the world by leaving the placenta. The piece of placenta rotted and thus death appeared on Earth. Amma put an end to the male being's disorderly acts by transforming him into a jackal, an animal that occupies a very important position in Dogon ideology. This small, wild creature, which is known more properly as Vulpes pallida, goes about only at night and never drinks water from ponds near the village, which, for the Dogon, explains why the fox was chosen to symbolize this enemy of light, water, fertility, and civilization. But this pale fox also learned the first power word and ever since then can reveal the future and hidden truths to those who can read his tracks properly. Unable to restore total order to his universe, Amma sought to mitigate the disorder let loose by the jackal. He sacrificed Nomo, the other male twin who had stayed in the egg. Nomo's dismembered body purified the 4 cardinal points of the universe, and the blood that flowed forth gave birth to various heavenly bodies, edible plants, and animals. Amma then burst a minuscule grain into which he had rolled all the elements of creation. These elements emptied into an ark of pure earth the remains of the placenta. In that ark Amma also placed Nomo, whom he had already brought back to life, and his other sons, the 4 pairs of heterosexual twins who are the ancestors of the human race. He lowered the ark from the heavens by means of a copper chain. The ark crashed onto Yaruga's earth at the time of the first rainfall, which formed the first pool of water. The sun also rose for the first time. Nomo went to live in the pool while the 8 ancestors settled on the spot where they had landed. Using the pure earth from their ark, these ancestors created the first cultivated field, and cultivation then spread throughout Yaruga's impure earth, the bush. The ancestors initially communicated by means of cries and grunts until one of the Nomo twins, the master of water, life, speech, and fertility, taught them language at the same time that he instructed them in the art of weaving. He then revealed to the ancestors such other fundamental techniques as agriculture, blacksmithing, dance, and music. The first human society was thus founded. Marriage was introduced when the ancestors exchanged sisters. The 4 male ancestors founded the 4 major religious cults, which are also the pillars of social organization. Among the Dogon, social order cannot be dissociated from religion. The eldest of the ancestors, Amma, witness of Amma, is associated with the creator god and with their sky. The ancestor Binu Saru is associated with water, and his ritual is celebrated in sanctuaries whose facades are periodically redecorated with paintings done in thin millet paste. The ancestor Lib Saru, witness of Lib, who, having died, was subsequently brought back to life in the form of a large snake. This ancestor is associated with Earth, the planet and soil, as well as the mythic archetype Earth, and with vegetation. The 4th ancestor, Jong-Usei, witness of healing, was in effect the first human to die, following the breach of an interdiction. His cult is celebrated by the Mask Society, which exists only on the cliff and on the plateau, and is associated with fire, death, the wilderness in his role as hunter and healer, and, consequently, disorder connections that, in turn, link his cult with the mythical fox Yaruga who, on a more mundane level, is commemorated in divination rites. Because of a dispute in their manned homeland, 4 brothers of supernatural origin decided to leave Mand and found a new land where their descendants might live peacefully. Before leaving, they took a symbolic emblem of fertility and continuity. In different versions, this symbol takes the form of either a dug, an amulet left them by their supernatural ancestor, Libsaru, or a piece of the earth of Libsaru's tomb in which this ancestor had died and was reborn as a serpent. During their migration, Din, the eldest, rides on a horse carrying the youngest, on his shoulders. The 2 other brothers, Domo and Ono, accompany them. As the 4 brothers reach the cliffs, shouts out a claim to all the land. Enraged by his youngest brother's boldness and disregard of the proper order of descent and inheritance, Jian abandons at the side of the road. Encounters an old woman at the side of the road who is pleased by his respectful manner and offers him gifts of supernatural value. These gifts will later serve the migrants with the tools of defense, domestication of animals, and rainmaking. Receives these supernatural gifts and rejoins his brothers. Together the 4 brothers found the new land.